continue, John Spritzler.
So as I said, I'm going to talk about tactics that 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people can do. When we have an egalitarian revolutionary party, we can do it on a large scale. But before that happens, we should start doing it on a small scale. And by small scale, I mean even a single individual, because these are things I'm already doing. So you can do them too.
Excellent. Good. That'll be beautiful counsel for us to have, and people from the Green Party who are activists can take it to heart. Judy, your hand's up.
Yeah, I have a question. This is not about the Green Party. We just had the Democratic primary, and Zoran Mamdani won. But what I found very strange was that Cuomo was leading in all the black areas, and I think in the South Bronx and Harlem. And I wonder if anyone can explain that, because Cuomo, I mean, the guy should be despised after what he did during COVID. So can anyone explain that?
Has anybody done a deep dive into that election? I know it was ranked choice voting, and I thought that he won, but in fact, there's going to be another election between the two runner-ups, perhaps. Does anybody have any details on the
that was a Democratic primary, so there's a couple of independents, including the present mayor Adams, who's going to run as an independent. So there'll be the general election. This was a primary, but as far as what might have happened, Judy, is possible precinct manipulation of votes. That's what I would suspect right away, is that somebody messed with the outcome. But yeah, this is just the primary. But
you think that it wasn't the voters then?
I do not.
That's possible. Yeah,
that's my thought. But here I am in Maine. I'm not in New York.
I haven't seen anything in the news anywhere about that, but it just strikes me as so bizarre.
That's weird. Yeah, that's weird.
So let me take this back. We're going to end our recording, and if anybody's followed through on this, watching us, you have been witnessing a series. Emanuel Pastreich presented his presentation. Will be available. We'll be posting it. It'll be available to read. And next week, we're going to continue our series here at Green Renaissance, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, in the next weeks. And we also have an event where there will be and I think we can do it here at Green Renaissance, a debate on the climate and CO2 and how should we think about this? How should we understand this between John Olson and Emanuel Pastreich? And that'll be, maybe that'll come up after John Spritzler presents, or we might take a break and, we can, but we have that imminently coming up. And we should think about, someone mentioned having Butch Ware as a guest at Green Renaissance. I think that's a great idea. And if anybody can reach him and knows him, then let's get on his radar. John Olson, you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I do. Jason Call, as was with Jill Stein, the gatekeeper. But I do have Butch Ware's home address, and I just recently wrote him a letter asking for some direct communication. But Jason Call is an avid pro-vax guy, and he's the gatekeeper. He's the campaign manager and chief gatekeeper. So we got to find a way around. One thing for anybody in California or could go to where you might see him in person is to invite him directly and say that we're Green members or have been, and would like to invite him on to express his views and to be questioned. We'll have questions for him as well. But beware of Jason Call being the gatekeeper.
So
Because he's-
thank you, John, for that warning. And my expectation is that Butch Ware would not come onto this group. Because
I think
well, let me just okay, we're going to close the recording, but before we're going to enter into the record that Howard Schweitzer invited people in the Green Party US delegates to bear witness to him presenting on the idea that having a monetary reform could be a winning issue for the Green Party. And he was reprimanded. He was admonished for inviting people to participate in Green Renaissance, because people who go to Green Renaissance are those people that are not whatever. And so I'm just warning everyone that, but so here's the bottom line. I mean, we are being the movement. We are being responsible. And if they want to shut us out, that's their business. But absolutely, we should invite Butch Ware to come here and bear witness to our concerns and what we think is important for the Green Party to be a winning party. So,
Good.
Okay. So, any final remarks? Emanuel, please close us out.
in closing, I just want to say another person who we had spoken about earlier was Dennis Kucinich, and he'd written back to me and said he would be happy to speak to us. So maybe it might be worth following up. Maybe if you, Chuck, would be willing to write to him directly and make the offer again.
Okay. Gloria would be delighted to have Dennis Kucinich on Green Renaissance because she wants to get him on left radio. But if we got him into a discussion group here at Green Renaissance before, she got him. I'm teasing, of course.
Well, he said yes. He said yes.
Okay. Well, then absolutely. Let's get Dennis Kucinich on and let's talk about, because I like Dennis Kucinich a lot. And for multiple reasons, and think that in our movement, the trick here is to get this simple proposition accepted, that we are in this crisis where we have to remove the rich from power so we can have real, not fake democracy. This is it. This is like the colonials said they had to remove the king. This is like the Magna Carta moments when they insisted the king give up power. This is like, the general strikes where people take control of their spaces. So, okay.
What did I hear? LOL? What'd you want?
Well, I'm just saying that Emanuel has heard that Dennis Kucinich would come on to a Green Renaissance meetup and participate in a discussion about building a movement.
Wow.
And I'm saying that you're jealous of Green Renaissance because I know you would like to have him on your radio show.
It can be in whatever format you want. I mean, it's.
Well, I want him on Green Renaissance.
Okay. Well,
but Gloria can also have him afterwards for a left.
I don't want to step on your
show.
toes. Right.
Because
Well,
I think he's.
I would think the LOL has a bigger footprint. I think he'd prefer that.
Of course you do. So.
No, I'm saying I think he'd prefer that.
Gets him first.
Okay.
I will reach out to Dennis Kucinich, and if we
why don't you send a note to him again? Okay. Thank you.
Let's reach out to Dennis, and then we can advertise that we have him on ample time, and we can get a big turnout. That'd be a wonderful thing to accomplish.
Oh yeah, no, that would be a huge thing.
Okay.
So, by the way, Chuck, Chuck,
Yep, John.
you are giving some historical examples that are good examples of aiming high. A more recent one that I think would be good to also be aware of is when I think it was around the 1910s, W.E.B. Du Bois told his fellow Black people, we need to abolish Jim Crow, not learn to adapt to it, which was what the Black leadership was saying until Du Bois challenged it. And that's what led to the eventual abolition of Jim Crow. It was W.E.B. Du Bois saying explicitly, for the first time, we need to abolish it.
Amen. And I know that's a good point to be bringing up, and I appreciate that. There are these very wonderful historical moments that we should be pointing to as we build our movement, and make these demands. And what's the famous, without a demand, there's no.
Yeah, the main leader, the most widely known and followed leader of Black people before Du Bois was Booker T. Washington, and he was totally his line, his message was learn to adapt to Jim Crow. He had to be directly refuted before Jim Crow could be abolished.
I think this is a little bit more complicated issue, John, about the Booker T. Washington versus Du Bois. I mean, Du Bois has a complex. I mean, Booker T. Washington has a complex argument about the need to first establish basic skills, and that he thought that first. I mean, it's you could disagree, but it's not naive. It was not naive. His strategy for building up education among working people and African Americans as part of a long-term strategy.
But W.E. Du Bois made a bigger demand.
The man
but he was a tremendous elitist.
He pronounced his name Du Bois. I'm sorry.
Du Bois.
It's not Du Bois.
Thank you,
Okay.
Judith.
Well,
okay.
Anyway, it's an interesting story.
Okay. So I am ending the recording, and next week we will be back with Mark Wolofson on anti-militarism, anti-imperialism discussion.